Hello, I'm Marletha, and on behalf of my research partner Armando, welcome to Snowden Chronicles. On this channel, we aren't just looking at names and dates on a page. We're digging deep into our own family roots, breathing life into our ancestors, and piecing together the puzzle of who we are. But we're also showing you how to do it, from decoding centuries-old court records and brick wall census data to capturing the priceless oral histories of our elders before they're lost. We're breaking down the exact investigative tools and strategies you need to uncover your own history. Because history isn't just something found in textbooks, it's in your bloodline. Subscribe to Snowden Chronicles, grab your magnifying glasses, and let's start hunting for the past together. Before we get into today's research breakdown, I want to start with something personal, something that reminds us why genealogy matters. For years, Armando and I had copies of estate papers connected to our ancestors, William Morse and his father Malachi Morse. These documents sat quietly in our files, reviewed many times, but never fully understood. And then, just a few weeks ago, everything changed. A single detail, a matching dollar amount, $122.72, appearing in both Williams and Malachi estate papers, opened a door we didn't even realize was there. That one number led us to confirm that Malachi was alive and knew Bern, North Carolina, at the time of William's death in 1864. It also revealed that my great-great-grandmother, Sarah Morse, was legally recognized as the sole heir to both estates. But now we knew something even more important. Malachi's estate paper wasn't just an estate paper. It was Lemon Walker's formal application to become Sarah's guardian. And we lined that up with Adam Walker's Freedman bank records from 1871 and 1873. We see a 3-year guardianship process, a delay that strongly suggests the courts were trying to locate Sarah's mother, Prudence, before assigning Lemon. This discovery didn't come from new records. It came from rereading the records we already had. Let's dig into it. Today we're diving into one of the most important breakthroughs in my family research, confirming that Malachi Morse was in New Bern, North Carolina, at the time of his son William's death in 1864, and uncovering the legal process that placed Sarah under the guardianship of the woman we suspect was her maternal aunt, Lemon Walker. This discovery didn't come from new documents. It came from rereading documents we've had for years, and finally noticing the connection that had been hiding in plain sight. William Morse served in the U.S. Colored Troops 35th Regiment, Company F. He was wounded at Ulster, captured and died at Andersonville prison on November 5, 1864. When a soldier dies, the U.S. Army issues final pay, clothing settlements, and any outstanding amounts owed. These payments were not sent to minors. They were sent to next of kin, usually the father. So legally, for William's estate to be processed, Malachi had to be alive on November 5, 1864. That's our first anchor point. For years, we've had two estate documents, William Morse estate, Malachi Morse estate. Both list the exact same amount, $122.72. Both were executed on the same day. Both named Sarah Morse as the sole heir. But here's the new revelation. Malachi's estate paper is also Lemon Walker's application to become Sarah's guardian. This is not coincidence. This is probate logic. What this means legally? William dies in 1864. Malachi receives William's army pay. Malachi dies before distributing it. The money remains in New Bern. The court processes both estates together. Sarah is named the only surviving child. Lemon applies to be her guardian. This is the moment the puzzle pieces lock together. New Bern was Union occupied from 1862 onward. It became a major center for Freedman Bureau's operations, paymaster and quartermaster offices, United States colored troop recruitment, refugee camps, freed people settlements. If Malachi collected William's army pay, he had to be physically present or represented in New Bern, because Washington County, where the family originally lived, was Confederate controlled for most of the war. This is why both estates were settled in Craven County, not Washington County. It's the strongest evidence we've ever had that Malachi made it to New Bern. The documents named Sarah Morse as the sole heir for both estates, but now we know the estate paperwork doubled as Lemon Walker's formal petition to become Sarah's guardian. This tells us several things. Sarah was alive. She was present in New Bern. She was known to the court. She was reachable. She needed a guardian. And here's where Adams Walker Freedman Bank's records become crucial. Adams' 1871 record, number 1863, Lemon listed as his wife, no mention of Sarah, no guardianship. This shows the guardianship was pending, not yet granted. Adams' 1873 record, number 3910, Lemon listed as guardian of Sarah Morse. This is the first legal documentation that the guardianship was approved. The 3-year gap is not random. It is evidence of a court-ordered search for Prudence, Sarah's mother. Now let's talk about the rest of the family. Prudence, Malachi's wife, and the younger children. We don't yet know where they were during the war, but we do know this. Roanoke Island Freedmen's Colony was one of the largest safe havens for families fleeing Confederate territory. It operated from 1862 to 1867, the exact window we're studying. Families from Washington County, Plymouth, Edenton, and the Albemarle region fled there in large numbers. And now, with the guardianship timeline clarified, we have a strong evidence that the court spent 3 years trying to locate Prudence. She was unaccounted for in 1870. She was not in New Bern. She may have been at Roanoke Island with the younger children. This is our next research frontier. The biggest takeaway from this discovery is simple. Go back and reread your documents. We've had these estate papers for years. We've looked at them dozens of times, but only recently did we notice the identical dollar amount, the identical execution date, the guardianship application, the Freedman's Bank timeline, the legal implications, the genealogical significance. Sometimes the breakthrough isn't in new records. It's in old records, seen with new eyes. So today we confirmed Malachi Morse was alive when William died in 1864. Malachi traveled to or lived in New Bern, North Carolina. He collected William's army pay. He died before distributing it. Both estates were processed together. Malachi's estate paper was Lemon's guardianship application. Adams' 1871 record shows the guardianship was pending. Adams' 1873 record shows the guardianship was granted. The 3-year gap indicates the courts were trying to locate Prudence. Prudence and the younger children may have been at Roanoke Island Freedmen's Colony. This is a major step forward in understanding the Morse family's Civil War journey. And it all came from documents we already had. As always, God bless. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Until next video.